Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 14 of The Whale.
So we got all our parts in, well, everything except for the service manual. So this is the second day of filming. We filmed part of it the other day. I got some of the back brakes on. So we're going to do that. Probably work on the block a bit and maybe the transmission. We'll see what we have for time. Okay, I've got all my new springs laid out. This is the automatic adjuster kit, which will run through here and all this. These are the shoes we're going to replace because of that right there. It's all starting to delaminate. Otherwise, they're in pretty good shape as far as pad thickness goes. If you think about, there, I'm just showing you. See the thickness of the brand new ones here. These are actually a little thicker. I think they're cheaping out on us these days. So one thing I learned as a teenager doing brakes, I was driving my 68 Charger. It was my daily driver. And I did my own rear brakes first time. And I learned an important lesson. And I missed it when I was doing that. And what would happen was, if you notice on the shoes, you got a primary and a secondary shoe. The primary, you'll see a much bigger gap to where the shoe starts, and then you got a secondary is much closer to that space. And so it's the same here. You see the bigger gap and the smaller gap. Well, on my 68 Charger, I didn't notice that, and so I had them reversed, and I don't know how long it took me to figure it out, a week or something, but my brakes kept tightening up on me. I had to get underneath and manually adjust this to take the brakes off the drums, because as I drove and hit the brakes, it wanted to tighten the brakes, and then it would just lock up the back wheels. So that's 35 years ago. No, that's probably about 38 years ago. But it's stuck in my brain now. You know, some things you just learn the hard way. So I got my shoes and springs, everything laid out. So I'll pop this off. These are already off here, and I see I got these lined up just matching what I got here. Okay, we will take the shoes themselves off. Come on, what's going on here? We got some new lighting here. I don't know if you noticed. I'm sure you can. It's going to make a difference. They just come in yesterday, so this is our first time using them. Hopefully, it works out okay. Now this. Just spread that out, drop it out, and then the spring here. Okay, yeah, that's unfortunate, but what do you do, eh? Yeah, other than that, they're in excellent condition, but yeah, we can't have that on Mama's Beast. Okay. I used to always use just pliers or vice grips for this job. And then you spend a couple dollars and get the proper thing, and it makes life just that little bit easier. So what we're going to have to do is transfer the e-brake arm here. You got a little squish washer there. So I'm going to pry that off, pop it out, and transfer it onto the new shoe. Okay, one thing I like to do when doing these shoes, if you notice here, it looks like little rub points, and that's where the back of the shoe rubs against there. Just slides. So I like to put a little anti-seize compound right in there, just as a bit of a lubricant. I'm not sure how much it actually does, but it's help it just with the sliding. Both sides, with all the parts, new shoes and stuff, spring kits mounted up. That side is almost done. I seem to be missing this bar that goes across here. I don't recall seeing it on that side. We've looked everywhere, so we don't see the part. So I'm going to have to go searching in my stash in the backyard and try and find this one piece here. Otherwise, you can see I've got all the new hardware and the self-adjuster kit with the little cable going up. It's all, everything fit, everything, should work. We got the same kits for the front as well. And so I got to find that bar for the other side, and then we can finish up the rear brakes finally. The other day, Shauna was cleaning up the block and she took the oil pump off the block, and this was a big ball of rust, or not rust, but oil. And I noticed this on here, this spacer. And I believe what it is it's a standard volume oil pump. They put probably a deeper rotor, impeller, whichever one you want to call it, inside, and they spaced it out for the extra volume. So if you were to buy a high volume pump, this housing here would go right to here. So I think they took a low volume pump, added this and the inside to make it high volume. I've never seen that before. It's kind of interesting, but we'll pop that off to confirm what I'm thinking. Now, it's probably just stiff on there. No hammer close by. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so it's what I thought. You see here, the guts are the extended wide ones from a high volume pump, and they added this spacer to convert it. So maybe this is a common deal, or maybe it's just an old school way of doing it. I've never seen it myself, but makes it a high volume pump, which is good since we've got the full groove bearings, the main bearings, which require more oil pressure. Anyway, look at this. They added two. Normally these outside pieces are one thicker one for the high volume, but well, as far as I remember, it's been so long since I had an oil pump going or a part. But anyway, it's what I thought. They had a high volume pump. So we'll look up the clearance specs. You measure between this here and the outer. There's a spec for that, and also you check these. Get over here in the light. You check these for groove. You can see little bits of marks in there. We'll see what's acceptable. If we have to, we'll just buy a brand new pump. They're about $80. I think they were maybe 100. But the nature of this build is we're going to try and get it on the road for less money, the least amount of money if we can. So we're always on a budget here. I realize when building these cars, what we do is we try and save money everywhere we can, because some parts you just have to pay up. So if you try and scrimp and reuse stuff where you can, and then sometimes you got to pay the extra money. Overall, hopefully you don't have too much invested. I went digging with in the stash. I've got numerous differentials in the back. Most are outside covered in snow, but some of the better diffs are in a shed, and I had to rob this from it. It's the piece we need for here. It's so that's all we need to finish this up. I'll just stick this in here. We got the bar in now. A little bit of finagling. I had to take this spring off so I could get it out far enough. Now we're going to adjust the shoes out to meet the drums. They're a little loose. So, nice thing about working with brand new hardware, it's nice and smooth like this. Even though this is new in here, I put some anti-seize compound in there on the threads just to keep it, from rusting up and keep it lubricated so it's works nice. So you want to just so it's start to snug on the drum. I think we're good right there. Okay, so both drums, everything's all new hardware. We got the new line on. I'm still fussing with that center rubber line there, trying to break the union. It's just, I keep spraying it, and I've got to get a torch, and I'm going to heat it up really hot and see if it'll come, because I just don't want to screw up that brake line. As far as the gas tank, as you've seen in the last video, it's all clean, ready to go. I got another order to put in, so I'm going to order the gasket for the sending unit, the little rubber ring. We need that, and then we need to sock the strainer for the bottom of the sending unit that goes inside the tank. I don't have anything like that. I got to find a source. I had a friend, Jerry, look it up locally at the auto parts store, and it's sort of a different style, but I mean, it does the same job. It's just a modern version. But they want like $53, I am assuming, plus tax. He priced it out. And so I'm going to see if there's anything cheaper, if I can source something. Rock Auto didn't have a listing per se, so sometimes you have to look at different model cars, maybe a newer model car, get the right part that, you know, it's going to slide on, you know, it's going to work. So we need that. We need the rubber ring, and then the tank can go in. We'll probably get the air line on the fuel line, air hose, and blow it out. And then that'll be the brakes back here and that. I got to get this line done. So now we can put the back tires back on, because everything's done in here, and we'll move to the front. We can't jack up all four at once because we only got one jacking tray with the hoist. So we're going to put all this back together and then move forward. Just wanted to show you guys, we got the front end jacked up, but we're just getting ready to take the front tires off. But I wanted to show you what it's going to look like when Shauna launches this at the drag strip. You can see how the front end is up and the front wheels are off the ground. So just wanted to show you what's to come. Take this all apart once again. And
Practice makes perfect. Can you reuse that pin? Or?
No, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to put a new one on any time, because you bend them too much, they can get brittle and break. So I always like to do it this way. Just put the vice grip on it and then tap it out. Start with this, I guess. Just get these springs off. Shauna hates this part. It's such violence. It's the best way to do this here. Okay. One there. One there. You can stay there. And then these shoes are, just double checking these shoes. These ones, they're not coming apart, so they're going back in. We just bought them new for the back because of the problem, but
well, they're better quality, the older stuff anyways. So
that depends, yeah. I mean,
they sure seemed like it.
Like the shoes we took off the back, and they were used shoes, so the brake lining was thicker than the new ones we got, so I think they just cheap out, and it's pretty sad. Oh yeah, we got new wheel cylinders. We haven't done that yet. Hop around with all these jobs. I forget what we've done, what we haven't done. Gotta keep those clean. We're gonna see this new spring kit. Comes with all new nails and springs and hardware, so it's nice, you know, for the 12 or 15 bucks. And that's per axle. Like this is for both sides, right? Same with the back, so you know that's cheap enough. And then this is the self-adjuster kit. The new adjuster and all the other hardware. Even a new little inspection or adjustment plug there. So yeah, I'll take a minute and get this off, fight with that on the back side, and then we'll continue on. So I sprayed this. I'm not sure how much faith I have with that trying to come loose. And again, I don't want to have to replace it all if I don't have to. So we'll see if, let me make sure I'm going the right way. Oh yeah. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. I think the whole line.
Like it let go.
Oh, yeah, we go. Hallelujah. Get this clip out of here. That'll release this line. Ah, yeah. Okay, we get that off. So the line is free. And then, of course, we got our freshie. Brand new.
Oh, it's pretty.
It's pretty. And I got a wrench and get this out of the wheel cylinder on the back, and oh, there we go.
I think it's best to replace all this stuff.
Yeah, you know, when you're trying to do things cheap, sometimes it bites you in the butt, right? And sometimes it's just not worth it.
Well, especially if you want to go on any type of road trip, right?
Especially if you want to stop.
Yeah.
Brakes only slow you down. A little tight, as you can see, to get the wrench in here, because we got this spindle. Oh, yeah.
The sound of victory.
Yeah. We keep the cursing for off camera, because there's lots of it.
Yeah, like when you're trying to put lug nuts on.
Shauna's got a real potty mouth.
Well, sometimes.
Gotta make sure I'm going the right way. Gotta go down.
That's one
Oh yeah, they're coming off. Well, with these new rubber lines we got, you know, of course they're trying to save 3 cents or 1 cent. They don't give you new copper washers to use, so you've got to have a kit handy full of them. Otherwise you get hung up waiting for parts again, right? So I'm just gonna thread this on here, and then I'll feed it through the hole, just thinking it might be easier to get started. And then I'll snug it up once it's in there. Oh, wait a minute. I got the wrong one. Yeah, these bolts there. Yeah, I got the wrong side. Ha! Grab the other one.
Right.
Okay, so I gotta think, if that one was wrong, this one's gotta be right. And it is. So we'll thread this line in here. Just to get it started. And then it's going this way. We got our things to push in the ends there. They just pop through the rubber and then they hold it in this little groove. Nice new wheel cylinders, hey?
Yeah.
And then that'll come through. And this will go through. And it'll be something like that. I'm gonna get these bolts started. Kind of hard to get my fat fingers in there. And this fender keeps biting me. Hooking my sweater.
That's why we wear shop clothes.
That's right. So, I don't want you guys to think that we always wear the same clothes in our daily lives. We do have normal clothes. These are just the shop clothes we throw on, and it happens to be almost the same ones in every episode. So yes, we do shower and we do change our clothes. I mean, we're hillbillies, but we're not that hillbilly. Did I tell you Shauna's my sister?
We used to actually get that a lot when I worked with Dean in his previous job. I used to get asked all the time.
Yeah, people thought we're related, and I thought, man,
Brother and sister.
that's creepy. So of course we had to do a blood test. And I think threading that hose on is kind of hindering my progress with the wrench, so maybe that wasn't a good idea. And this goes in like that. Look at that nice steel brake line that's not broken. It's actually spinning on the line, which is just amazing. And we'll pop this little thing in there. Need something to whack that with. Hammer. Okay, so I'll cinch that down. And then okay, then we'll cinch this down. Then we'll replace all the hardware. Put the automatic adjusters in. Okay. Okay, line is in, that's in. Now we'll come around to this side. Okay, so we'll start off with a bit of anti-seize on the rub points here. You can see where it's rubbing there, metal on metal. This will just help it slide a little bit. I mean, that's the theory in my head anyway. There's all kinds of strange stuff in there. Oh, was that out loud?
Yeah, that was your outside voice.
Give away all my secrets. Then we'll put a new nail. Get a couple of these ready. Get this handy dandy tool right here. And get a shoe going. Okay, so we still got the primary shoe. Nail through here. The adjuster went on the back side of the wheel at the back, so I would gotta assume it's the same here. The automatic adjuster. Okay, so we got that. Pop these on. So hopefully, we got some new microphones and some new lights. So hopefully that'll
Help you see every little thing.
Yeah. You know, I was so close there. Okay, we try that again. See, we'll just keep it rolling because this is the reality of it. It's a feebly, fumbly mess. Okay, so now, there we go. Put it on, locks on, and this one's in place. Put the nail in. And springs. Boy, everything's just tangled here. Yeah, okay. And then this, and then this. Okay. And then, yeah, so we'll reuse these because there's nothing wrong with them. They're perfectly good, and just like the back, they got more meat on them than the new ones do. Which is just, well, I think it's par for the course nowadays. Everything is so spotty with getting decent parts. So much of it is just, the quality's just crazy bad.
Yeah, it's just not there.
No, I mean, the majority of it is made in China. And not that that's necessarily bad, because there's good China and there's bad China as far as quality. And a lot of these name brands, like these, I got it on first try, like these, Dorman or Wagner shoes or brake parts and stuff, they're all, it doesn't matter the brand name, they all seem to be made in China. And like I said, of course, you want the cheap price, so that's inevitable. But you really got to watch the quality or lack of quality, because it can really bite you. And the same thing is with a lot of the restoration parts. I mean, other than these, basic mechanical parts, you get the restoration parts, and so many of the parts just don't fit right or look right, but yet you pay top dollar for it. So it's definitely a buyer beware. We're trying to restore these old beasts. I guess maybe bad parts are better than no parts. I don't know. But I've been into these Mopars since the mid 80s. I mean, that's how old I am. And we used to buy cars. I know, of course, you hear this from everybody. The cars were so cheap. I got to make sure this adjuster kit is the left side. Yeah, because these thread a certain way. Anyway, we used to buy these cars for pennies on the dollar compared to what you pay today, of course. I'd say the majority, but a good chunk of my cars I've had a long time. So, they were a lot cheaper than they are today. But where was I going with this?
Poor quality parts.
Oh, I see. I know what I was going to say. So back in the 80s and early 90s, you could get all the mechanical parts, but the body parts you just couldn't get, and they were horrible, some of the stuff. Like, I remember looking at cars, Chargers and stuff, and they'd be, big block 383 Charger or whatever, and it'd be, $1,000, $1,500. That's what they were worth at the time. And the quarters were really badly rusted. And I'd pass on the car just because they were so rusted, because the quarter pounders you could buy at the time were just flat. They were completely flat with a crease in them, and that's what you got. And then the wheel well, and you had to form them and everything. And so getting back to the parts, I'd rather have some parts than no parts. But back then, yeah, as far as body parts go, we just had none. And it was brutal as far as, trying to do cars and stuff. Okay, so just trying to think what I'm doing here. I'm talking too much. Okay, so we got all that. So we got springs here. These are going to go here. And, we're going to need this adjuster in here. Part of the adjuster kit. So this has got to go on first. And then it comes around like that. So we'll leave that. Put this spring on. And again, we'll see if I can do this without, taking a finger off or something. This gets a little violent. And you see sparks too. That's always cool. Now, this is not supposed to be like that. Can't always choose where things end up here. Oh, come on. Right on camera too, eh? There we go. Okay, so we want that to come that way. Then we got the other spring to come here. But part of that kit is this. The spring's got to go through here and then through the hole, and it all sort of holds itself in. What is going on? Doesn't want to go in the hole. Then you gotta force it in there. The spring's got such a curve on it. There we go. Didn't want to go through the hole. Okay. Did I get the wrong spring? No. I got the right spring. They're all pretty much just the same. Top and bottom are different. Need to get some light in here. Doesn't feel right. Definitely doesn't feel right. Well, it was all hard to get in because I was in the wrong hole. It went too far down and it's a much smaller hole, so moved one up and look at that, it just fell together. So that goes around like that. Now we'll get some more spark action here. I gotta admit, I don't even like this part. Ah, screwdriver slipped off. Just gotta keep your fingers out of the way. Make sure that's in the hole. There's more sparks. Okay, so that's all in. This goes around, and this fits in this hole like that, and this comes across like that. And now there will be another spring from here up to there. Yeah. I think that's how it goes. Let's see if I can do this without, again, taking my fingers off. Get a nice grip on there. So there we go. I got both there, all the new wheel cylinders. We got the automatic adjuster. So now, since we changed adjusters, this is the one we took out. I usually keep these around because sometimes you missing a piece or something when you're doing another job, and if you don't have a new kit, it's handy to have stuff around. Some people call it hoarding. I prefer collecting. Even if it's useless parts you need every 10 years. Okay, so this is probably going to have to open this up, just like on the back. Spread the shoes out, we get a nice bit of friction fit. And then this side will be done. And we won't bother filming the other side because, you know, it's just a repeat. Don't want to put you guys to sleep. Although you're probably already sleeping now. Gotta watch the grease seal there. Yeah, so you can see the shoe's gonna come way out. Of course, these are old drums, so you know, I'm sure they're gonna have their own wear in them as far as diameter. It'll be good for now because depending how Shauna likes the drum brakes, we might end up putting discs on it, or discs I mean. So this is initially to get it on the road.
Do the tweaking after.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to, you know, here we are almost the end of January, and you know, we say we want it on the road this spring, so we got to get busy. So that's why, there we are, we're getting close. I think that's pretty good right there. So slides, but it's just making contact. Okay, so that's on. I don't think I'm missing anything here. I'm doing all this blabbing. And, okay. So now, I had gone through and greased these the first time we had it apart, so we're good to go there. And then the nut on there. So an update on our steering box. We found a local gentleman through a couple guys in our local Mopar club, Okanagan Mopars. Incidentally, we just celebrated 30 years this last summer, and I think I've been a member for 29 years. So we'll tighten that and then kind of seat the bearing a bit, and then we'll back it off a hair. Anyway, through word of mouth, I found a local gentleman that he's a retired Chrysler mechanic. He was a Chrysler mechanic up in Edmonton. Oh, I think he said 30 years. Anyway, he did front end, front suspension, and steering. That was his deal. So last weekend, I took him the steering box, and he didn't think it would be that big of a deal. He looked at the play, and I think there is supposed to be some play there, and that firms up when, of course, the power steering is pumping when the car is running. But probably our biggest thing is that plastic coupler I showed you. It was just a sloppy fit, the way it was fitting. So we're going to order another one of those. And so he's going to open up the box. He's going to inspect it. When he was inspecting it when I first dropped it off and some fluid squirted out, he said it was a nice color. It still was nice and red, as opposed, he said, when it starts to go black, like comes out really dark, he said that's a sign of internal wear, and quite often the box is not even rebuildable when they're like that. But anyway, preliminary inspection, he thought it looked pretty good. So he's going to pull it apart, and then there's just usually two seals. You got the output where the pitman arm goes on. He said that's the very common one because, gravity, everything wants to leak out the bottom. And then there's the input. So he said there's those two. He'll pull all apart, inspect it, replace those two seals, and then he'll adjust it and put it all back together. So I think we're going to be good to go on that. We didn't talk price, but he was a really nice guy. I don't know if I mentioned, he's 85 years old. Super nice guy. And still, playing and, doing projects and stuff in his shop. So we'll get that another week or so, and I'm sure the price will be reasonable. It'll definitely be more or a lot cheaper than, our alternatives, which we're sourcing firm feel out of the States or something. So this is spinning really nice. I'm just feeling for any play. I'm sure there's supposed to be a proper method here, but I think as long as you don't have play, you get a little bit of preload on the bearings, we're good to go. Feels good. We can always check them once we get the car on the road again, and go around the block or whatever, and things like the seat or whatever. And then we're just going to line this up right there, and going to go find another cotter pin. Got lots of those, so I will be right back. Okay, found a cotter pin. And we'll put that in there. So this wheel doesn't come flying off, because that might shock Shauna. That's actually a fairly loose fit. I put it on with my hand. Okay, so we got that done. We got the line up. We still need to do the other side. We'll do that off camera. There's no point in showing you the exact same thing again. I was going to go over the engine block there with the honing, but we just ran out of time. It's just about 9 o'clock, and of course we got to do some editing, and then of course, got to go to bed and work again tomorrow. Well, that's a wrap for tonight. We never seem to get as much done as we can. We're only out here probably 2 or 3 hours, working and filming, and then, we got to go in and edit for probably a couple hours yet before we go to bed, and then go back to work tomorrow. So it's not like an all-day thing. Usually weekends are more like that. So we got the back brakes all done up. We'll have the front brakes done, without too much trouble. and then we'll move on to the some of the engine and the honing and stuff. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.